bringing the people together, bringing a core group of stakeholders together, people with resources, people who know what resources are available, to get together here at this meeting, identify what those resources are, identify what the hard goals that we would just seek out and measure are, and then we just schedule a meeting that working group going forward to take all the information. We had 4 hours of discussion, 4.5 hours of discussion, take all that, synthesize it, and then plan an action forward. So that's going to include further discussions. One of the things that we talked about here was obviously engagement with young people, taking this information and gathering, gaining more information from those interactions with people. So this is really just step one.
And is this a result of what has been going on here in Ferguson with this being stuff?
I think that this program came to me because of what happened, because of the protest, because we recognize that many people, many young people, feel like there's not access to opportunities, access to quality education, access to jobs, job training, and so considering that the Michael Brown incident was trying to consider that started conversations around the region, around the country. Some conversations and many conversations that are coming from this are frustrations with government, frustrations with the socioeconomic situation for many people, access to opportunities, access to a whole host of resources. And so this program was made known to me. I thought it was a great program. I talked to the council about it. And we look at this as a great opportunity to try to bring all those resources together to address some of those other issues that have come up since the shooting.
Some of those sort of underlying things that we
come back to is probably overstating it, but at the same time, like I said, there's a lot of factors that still have to be looked at. There's a lot of discussion that has to happen, which has not happened yet. So any decision on that has not been made yet.
Is there an internal investigation that still has to happen? Policy-wise from the department?
Right, and then Chief did touch on that, and that's why I think that there was some confusion, because Chief did touch on the fact that they can't even look at anything yet until the investigation into criminal acts is over, because that information is not even been provided to the city yet. So again, once he's cleared, if he's cleared from any criminal wrongdoing, that information has to then be provided to us, to the city. It has to be digested. Has to be looked at to make sure that there's no other issues that may not rise to the level of criminality. And then a decision will be made based on his future, and it'll be I'm sure a lot of that conversation will happen with Mr. Wilson as well. So I just don't want people to think that this is all automatic. There's still federal investigation. There's still questions over the civil rights investigation. So there's still some questions out there that the indictment or not indictment is not the end of the discussion.
Is there an internal investigation that still has to happen in the department?
That's a matter really, I think, of policy that the city manager and the chief can probably answer better, but it's my understanding from the chief that obviously they have to look at what the information, the police report, and the criminal investigation finds, and then look to see if that is if there's anything that we should be concerned about from that investigation. Again, this is a criminal investigation that talks about things that rise to the level of criminality. It doesn't mean that there might not be something still of concern to address in an internal personnel investigation.
So like breaking a policy rule or
Sure,
something like that?
Sure. And so again, like I said, I think it's premature to talk about what the status would be until all that stuff's been addressed.
Whenever this stuff comes up, how much damage does it do in the community to hear something like that? To hear something like he's going to immediately be reinstated. How much damage does that do? How much reaction are you getting?
Well, I think I haven't got any reaction other than from media so far, but this is not a new question. This is something that the chief and I and all have addressed many times over the past 90 days. So again, conceivably, people have asked if he was cleared of criminal wrongdoing, would he return to work? And again, a lot of that is still up in the air, and there's still a lot of questions to be answered before we would have an actual answer on that.
Would it be automatic, is what you're saying?
Well, and I think the point that maybe the chief was getting at is that people ask us, can you still fire him after if he doesn't get indicted. And again, he has employment rights, and so the question wouldn't necessarily be that he would be, that we may not be able to fire him, we may not choose to fire him. It would have to be a discussion again with him as to what his status would be, to make sure that everything was done correctly on his behalf. Obviously, this is assuming that there's no indictment. And then also having the discussion, as Chief said, discussion with Darren to make sure that this is something that he wants to come back to, that he would feel comfortable coming back and working in this community.
As the mayor, would you be worried about that?
I'd be worried about his safety, absolutely. I'd be absolutely worried about his safety.
And what about the public reaction after all that's happened?
There's a mixed public reaction right now towards it. I would be concerned that there's going to be some that obviously will be angered by that. But again, those are all conversations that have to continue to be had and have within our department, with our officers, and with the community. So,
I want to show that I sent this to you, and I don't know if you know the answer, but I just want you to take one more look at it.
I have my phone.
I'm going to show it to you. This is going all over the internet, and I'm trying to get it to play for you. It's a video that someone says is Officer Wilson.
And I sent it to,
take a look at
and I did, and actually sent it to several of our officers. And though they did tell me who they thought it was, they didn't think it was Darren. But I'm not going to out that officer who they thought it was. So yeah, I saw that video, and like I said, to me, it looked like it could be, but again, I actually sent that to several other police officers, and they said that was not him. So,
are you concerned with what was said?
About
what was said on the video, basically that the officer told someone to stop filming him and he was going to effing arrest them.
Yeah, we shouldn't be addressing our residents in that way, not at all, absolutely not. So, yeah, that is concerning, and like I said, that's a video that, and I didn't only just send it to some of our police officers to try to figure out who it was. I sent it to the chief and sent it to the city manager. So, if that does find out to be an active officer in our department, absolutely is somebody I think should be discussed. The way that they interact with the community needs to be discussed with them. That it needs to be addressed. That's not the way that we want to address our community, our citizens.
How much is all that has gone on here, and the rumors that have gone on, and the constant social media that's going back and forth, and the constant coverage? How much stress has that brought to this city, both the citizens and the leaders of the city?
It's been a tremendous amount of stress on everyone, but our citizens have weathered it well, but they are growing weary. It's 90 plus days of this, and there's actually, I'm hearing a bit more exhaustion every day. And a lot of people are just anxious to get to the decision. We know that this is going to be tough for a lot of people on whichever side of the issue you're on. It's going to be difficult. There are going to be people who are disappointed and upset about the decision. We want to get to that point because what I hear across the board is the discussion of people that they want to move forward and heal. Not just heal, but we've already outlined, we've already pinpointed what a number of issues that we need to talk about reforms are. So we want to get to that. But a lot of the things that we want to work forward on are kind of being held up by this looming decision and how that may affect people or how that may draw schism again back in the community or throughout this region. So we're very, very interested on making reforms. We've addressed some already. We want to move forward and heal as a community and come together. But yes, this is still yet an obstacle we have to get past first.